countless desires that we have, there is one desire within all of us which is common, and that is to look different, to be different from the lot we are in, to have that unique quality which makes us stand out, to be outstanding in whatever we do. We do want to be different in whatever we do. It may be that we want to look different from the other in how we carry and dress ourselves, or it may be the work that we are doing in which we want to be different from the rest, or rather be excellent, which will eventually make us look different from the rest. So there is this trait, this quality that we all wish to have, to be unique, different, and stand out from the rest of the crowd. But the uniqueness that we often aim for is, if we look at closely, is within a certain parameter, is within a certain boundary. Like for say, if we want to, if there are lot of colors and all of them, most of the people around us are choosing their color through which they want to represent themselves. So within this set parameter rules, we would choose the color that would most catch the eye, but nonetheless we would end up choosing a color. Our uniqueness would just be defined by the catchiness of the color we are choosing. And so the difference that we aim to have, that would distinguish us from the other, although seemingly different, but still ends up more or less being the same. It is at the end of the day a color that we are choosing. It is at the end of the day something within a limited boundary where we choose to differentiate ourselves. Often the uniqueness that we do aim to have is within an established, already set ground. Like if everyone else has a watch, what would we do to look unique in that set is to have a watch which is absolutely different from anybody. And so with the shoes that we would choose for ourselves, often teenagers would, when they are going in, if it is a school that has a uniform, often you would see teenagers dressed a little bit different, so they would look different. Within the uniformity of the appearance that everyone has around them, they, although being in that uniform, do wish to appear at least slightly different from the rest. And this wish to be unique is prevalent, is palpable when we are young. We would want to have the best bicycle to ride in the group of friends that we have, and we would want to dress the best in the set of amongst in our pool of friends. We would want to possess the best gadget that is out there, which is different from the gadgets that the rest of the people have around. And in fact, this strive to be excellent in what one does is our desire to be different from the other. is our desire to set ourselves apart from the other, but all of it still within the already established parameters, a set ground in which we chase this uniqueness, chase this differentiating factor that would set ourselves apart from the others. And so the pursuit of being perceived as something unique, as someone unique, eventually in a longer picture makes most of us look the same, because the parameters that we have set to achieve this uniqueness in is limited. It is within a set boundary that we strive for uniqueness, and because it is within the boundary, however different we think we are, but at its core we are the same. We are doing the same thing. We are striving for that one common goal of being different from the other. However far we go in the race, we would find that we are still someone who's running the race, and so that desire to run the race makes us all the same. And on the surface it would look that everybody who's running the race is different, because in a race everybody has their different positions, some are forward, some are behind, and so on the surface it would look like there is a difference, but it is only a perceived difference. It is not something really entirely different. It then raises the question that what is then is actually unique? What is it that is different? What is it that stands out? And so far it appears that this limiting factor of the ground in which we aim to achieve this differentiation, this limiting factor is the very thing that makes us all the same. That however much one tries to set themselves apart, they would still end up being the same. So uniqueness may only come about when there is no limiting factor imposed upon it, when there is no established ground in which there is the pursuit to be unique. Understanding and perceiving and seeing for oneself the limitation of the ground upon which we strive for uniqueness is false, is limited, would probably bring us close to that which is something entirely different, to that which is really outstanding, because we may choose a different color to represent ourselves, but in this pursuit of choosing the color, to be colorless would be unique. In asking the question, in inquiring that why we are striving for uniqueness within a limited established set of instructions, is something really different, because one at the end of the day wants to be seen, wants to be heard, desires to have the attention upon them. But striving for this attention directly is a fool's act, because learning about the falseness of the ground on which we strive to differentiate ourselves would then automatically make us unique, be heard and seen, because one that is really different, original, completely authentic in its being would automatically shine. They wouldn't have to strive to be seen or heard. And then that attention that they eventually receive is a byproduct of that authenticity, of their originality. Without questioning, without really inquiring what is worth and what has real value, when we begin to just simply follow the path, follow what the majority, everyone around us is walking on, when we begin to walk the same path, it is when we strangulate, it is when we kill the source of originality, the any authenticity that we would have. And having completely neglected the authenticity that could arise within us upon questioning, upon inquiring, we then strive for uniqueness and that factor which would make us different in that same path that the thousand others are walking on. And even if we do achieve to set ourselves apart, we are at the end of the day losing in spite of winning. Authenticity, originality, uniqueness are all a byproduct, an offset of inquiring and asking questions, finding for oneself what is real and what is not real, what is really valuable, what is really worth, what has any worth. Just because the majority around us has decided that this is something worth and valuable does not make it so. We have to find for ourselves what is truly really worth the work that we so readily want to put in. One has to clear out the path, one has to clean up the mess for that authenticity, for that originality to fragrance, because walking on those same old patterns, however secure and safe they may feel, what we do is we conceal, we step on anything that could be fresh, new, unique or different. Within us there is that urge, there is that wish that wants us to set ourselves apart, to make ourselves stand out from the crowd. But we have to see what is the field, what is the ground that we are choosing, upon which we wish to set ourselves apart from the others, upon which we want to be different from the others. And if the ground that we choose is in itself narrow, small, then how does it matter that how big we are in that narrow, small ground? Because inwardly our demand is that vastness, that bigness that we wish to have, that we wish to achieve. But that vastness, that huge immeasurable self cannot adjust or fit in it, cannot adjust or fit itself in a narrow and limiting space. But that is what we strive for. We strive for that vast, huge, we aim for that vast and immeasurable space, but ourselves we stand upon those grounds that are limiting and narrow, and then our struggle becomes to fit that immensity into something that is small, is little. Having tried and struggled to achieve for that authenticity and originality in our limited space for n number of times, we ought to then begin to inquire that whether the field on which that we are striving for uniqueness, for originality, whether that field can even tolerate, fit, or even qualified for that newness, for that originality. Through our old and stale ways, we expect new and different results. We walk towards the same thing from different angles. Our ways appear new every time, but always lead us to the same old conclusions, the same old results, until we question the validity, of our ways and the path that we walk on to achieve the new thing. How do we expect to have anything original from the same old ways and paths that we choose? And just realizing that false newness of our old paths might just make us stumble upon something really new and authentic for the first time.